Happy Saturday, everyone. So, it is another Saturday. I'm home and I'm going to be home all day. So, I knew it was going to be a very low key Saturday. I had some work to do, but it's not going to be as crazy. So, I decided to experiment today and make some homemade Dutch oven bread. I love my Dutch oven. I don't get to use it as often, but I love it, and I've always been interested in using it to make bread. I've made bread before with like making a baguette years ago, and it came out pretty good. But there's something about rustic, crusty bread, and the recipe I used before when I made the baguette wasn't as crusty and didn't have that factor. So I've been doing a lot of research on what recipes work, ingredients, and although there's some amazing recipes out there, I couldn't land on just one. So that being said, I did find a recipe that's a no-knead Dutch oven bread recipe, and it's really simple ingredients, but doing further research, I'm going to tweak this one a little bit. So let me go ahead and show you guys what this recipe entails and what are all the ingredients. All right, everybody. So we're going to need, of course, our Dutch oven, some parchment paper. I like King Arthur's all-purpose flour, but you can use whatever all-purpose flour you want. I've used other, but this is my favorite and a little bit more expensive. You're going to need your measuring cup. You're going to need active dry yeast. You're going to need about two different bowls. I have two different bowls here. Some salt and some sugar. Now, the reason why I'm saying I'm tweaking the recipe that I found that I liked is because the recipe that I had found does not call for any sugar. Now, the reason why I'm going to add, I think about a teaspoon of sugar for this recipe is because I read online that it helps with the rising process. So although again this recipe does not call for sugar, I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of sugar to help with the rising process. I have my notes here and we're going to go ahead and start. Alright guys, so I have 1.5 cups of lukewarm water. Typically you have a candy thermometer or something, you would want to make sure that this is within the specified temperature. I do not have one, so I'm going to just throw a little bit of a Hail Mary and hopefully this works. So I just literally used faucet water. I did not. You don't want to kill the yeast. I did not heat this up, but we're going to see if this works. And then I'm going to take the yeast, and it's about a teaspoon of dry active yeast. So let me get my teaspoon, half a tablespoon, my teaspoon, and I'm going to take 1 teaspoon of active dry yeast, and I'm going to add that to the lukewarm water, and I'm just going to mix that. And just make sure that we mix it well. I think we are good. I think it's well incorporated, so I'm going to put this to the side and I'm going to allow this to bloom for about 15 minutes while I go ahead and get the rest of my ingredients ready. Okay, and in a separate bowl, I'm gonna go ahead and sift my dry ingredients. So let me go ahead and take my all-purpose flour. And I only use King Arthur's all-purpose flour when I need to bake. I don't use this if I need to bread something. This is only if I need to bake. So it's going to be 3 cups. So just make sure it's measured. And I have my sifter in there. So let's do this because my sifter isn't that big. So. Another cup. We're gonna again sift. Okay, and our final cup. And with this final cup, I'm gonna put the other ingredients. Leveled. Final cup. You're not baking right if you don't have it all the way, all on you. Okay, and then we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of salt. So 1 teaspoon. 2 teaspoons, and then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar. Open my sugar. Just 1 teaspoon of sugar. Hopefully that's good enough. I don't want it to be sweet. I just want to help with the rising. And I'm going to sift. Okay, let's go ahead and wait a little bit more for the yeast to bloom. It hasn't quite been 15 minutes, and I'll be right back. All right, Houston, we have a problem. This is the water with the yeast, and nothing has happened. It has not, as we see, there's no bubbles. You can see it's not hasn't bloomed. So either the water was too hot or it was too cold. So we're going to try to do this one more time. If not, I do have instant yeast, and we could try to substitute it that way. But this baking is super technical, which is why 9 times out of 10 you have to have all the tools, because you can encounter things like this where I don't have a thermometer, so I'm like really guessing here. But we are going to try one more time. Okay guys, so I think we're doing a little better, because as you see there's bubbles. So which tells me it's blooming. So I think we're in better shape than the last attempt. So we're gonna wait a few more minutes, and then I'm going to add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. Alright guys, so now it's been about 15 minutes, so I'm gonna add our flour to the water and the yeast. I'm gonna take my spatula and I'm just gonna start mixing. And just slowly mix or stir. I should say stir. is what we have. So I'm gonna put a damp cloth over this, and I'm gonna let it sit for 2 hours, at least 2 hours. All right, guys, so it's been rising for 2 hours now, and we have a parchment paper that has been floured. We're just going to transfer this onto the parchment paper, shape it into the shape we want, which we're going to want a ball shape, and then we're going to cover it with a damp towel and let it rest for about 30 minutes. Now, within those 30 minutes that's resting, I'm going to take my Dutch oven and put it in my oven at 450 degrees. So let's do that. Have it on the ball, shape that I like. It's not perfect, but imperfect things are beautiful. So we're just gonna leave it like this. And I'm gonna cover it back with a damp towel. I'm sorry, with a damp cloth for 30 minutes. Now, while that's happening, I'm gonna put my oven on at 450 degrees. And while that's preheating, I'm gonna take my Dutch oven. Alright guys, so as you see here, it has risen some more. And we're gonna take our Dutch oven out of the oven and put this in there. I know there's special tools like cut this type of bread. Maybe I should invest in one. Just lightly. Okay. So now I'm going to cover it and we're gonna bake it for 30 minutes. 30 minutes. All right guys, so it's been in for 30 minutes. I just removed the lid. I'm gonna put it back in for about 15 minutes or until it turns more golden on top. All right guys, so I just took it out. I didn't leave it for the full 15 minutes. It took about 10 minutes for it to get this golden, and I'm afraid if I keep it in longer, it's going to burn on top, because as you see here, like, it's getting really dark. So I'm gonna let this sit for a few minutes and then we're gonna cut into it and do a taste test. All right guys, we're gonna cut into this, but I just wanna know if you can hear this. How like crunchy and crispy this is. Just cut a piece. So it's really warm. Whew. And it's been sitting for like almost 15 minutes. And it's really warm still. Ooh, look at that steam. Wow. I don't know if you guys can see that. That looks really... Let's go ahead and add some butter. All right, I'm gonna add some butter. I'm trying to do this with one hand and it's not working. Okay, let's just... All right, guys, have some butter on this, and let's try. It's super warm still. That's good. Crispy, super soft on the inside. You still see some of the steam coming out of that. One sec. Okay, because this butter, it's not really that salted. I have some truffle salt. I'm gonna add a little bit onto my lid. Add a little bit, so we have some of that truffle salt on here. Oh, this is the next level. This will be perfect if you have like a butter board for a party and then you have like that showstopper. I think what I'll do differently though, I don't know if it's worth using dry active yeast instead of using just instant yeast. I think I kind of want to use just instant yeast just so I don't have to do the proofing process for so long. I don't know. I think next time I make this, I'll probably try it with the instant yeast and just add the instant yeast to the flour and then add the liquid and see how, if there's a difference. But this is super bomb. This will definitely be a showstopper for any events that you're having, or even just a regular Saturday when you just want to experiment. So good. So good. Today's a cheat day. It's okay. We go back to basics tomorrow. I've been all good all week. Don't judge me.